Okay, you guys know that my love of donuts runs deep. On my video last week, I took you with me as we went to the 2019 Utah Dough Show in Salt Lake City, and it was so much fun. So many donuts, and totally had a donut hangover after that, but it was so much fun. But surprisingly, on my blog, I have very few donut recipes. I guess I usually just save that for the donut shop. Today though, I am bringing you a donut recipe straight from my kitchen. Okay, so when I went to decide what I wanted to do, inspired by the dough show, I couldn't narrow it down to one donut. So I kind of just went general on this, and I'm going with an easy cake donut. Okay, there's a couple of reasons why I chose this. First of all, because I know if you're gonna make donuts at home, they need to be easy. Now, I want to perfect the perfect yeast donut at home, but that is not for today. These donuts are seriously so easy. You don't need to be afraid of frying. You don't need to be afraid of donuts. Anybody can make these at home. These are so good and perfect even for just an after-school snack for your kids or for a Saturday morning. So let's get into the kitchen and show you how to make them. You are gonna start by heating up a neutral cooking oil. I like to use vegetable oil in a large, heavy-bottomed pan. You'll need about a quart of this depending on how big your pan is. You're going to want to start this first because it takes quite a while for the oil to heat up. Once you've got that going, let's go ahead and make your dough. Start by combining a half a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of shortening in a bowl, and then you're going to beat that together until it is smooth. Add in 1 egg and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract and beat those together until it is well blended. In another bowl, mix together 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of grated nutmeg. Whisk these together with a metal whisk until they are combined. Then you'll want to measure out 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Add 1/3 of the dry mixture to your shortening and sugar mixture and beat that until it's combined. Then add in half of your buttermilk, another 1/3 of the flour mixture, the remaining buttermilk, and then the remaining dry ingredients. Beat that just until it is combined. You don't want to overbeat at this point. Flour a counter and then pour your dough out onto that counter. If the dough is especially sticky, you can knead it a couple of times until it is not too sticky to handle. Roll your dough out until it is about 1/3 of an inch thick. Then use circle cookie cutters to cut out your donuts. I get about 9 donuts from my dough. You don't want to re-roll your dough just because it makes the donuts tough, so I just make donut holes with all of the extra dough. Let your donuts sit for about 10 minutes or until your oil is ready to go. While the dough is sitting, you can make your glaze. Melt 4 tablespoons of butter, and to that add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. Start whisking in 3 cups of powdered sugar, about a 1/2 cup at a time. If it gets too hard to whisk, add in some milk. You'll be adding milk the whole time until you have a good glaze consistency. Once that is ready, you can set it aside. Once your oil has reached 375 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll want a candy thermometer to make sure you're at a good temperature. Start frying your donuts. I like to add in half of the dough at a time, frying until the first side is golden brown, then flipping it over and cooking the second side. Once the donut is golden brown, transfer it to a paper towel lined plate. When the donuts are just cool enough to handle, dip them into your glaze, and I like to glaze the whole donut, not just one side. Okay, so I want to show you something that might happen while you're making these donuts. So I got called away in the middle of making these donuts, so the first batch that I put into the oil, they set out a little bit before I dipped them in the glaze. So I'm going to show you the difference between dipping a warm donut and dipping a cooled off donut. Okay, so you can see these donuts in the front were the ones that I dipped when they were cooled off, and the ones in the back were dipped when they were still warm. So the glaze definitely melts more into the donut when you dip them when you're warm. I personally prefer them warm because this glaze sets up a little too thick for me, but it's all a personal preference. Okay, there are a few things that I love about these donuts. First, they're fast. Second, they're easy. Third, it only makes 9 donuts and about 1 million donut holes, but we won't count those. But that way you're not stuck with all of these donuts that you feel like you have to eat yourself. These are the perfect cake donut with a delicious glaze. You're gonna wanna make these over and over and over again. I'll just be over here finishing up my donut. Seriously, so good.